Are you serious? Are you serious? This guy's gone mad. I mean, what? Kim Jong-un fires off another round of artillery and missiles, several short-range projectiles into the sea. Hours after the United Nations Security Council voted to impose tough new sanctions on the isolated state, and the South Korean president vowed to end North Korea's tyranny. Now, this is huge, folks. Now, he fired these missiles today after the United Nations put some serious sanctions on him. And then the South Korean president vowed. You have to understand, these Koreans, when they take a vow, they're not like a lot of Americans. They're not blowing hot air, okay? When these guys take a vow to do something, they would do everything in their power to make it happen. Now, when he says he wants to end the North Korean tyranny, that's exactly what they mean. The firing escalated tensions on the Korean peninsula, which have been high since North Korea's recent nuclear test and the long-range rocket launch. And it set the South's military on the heightened alert. Folks, we're at the brink of war in Korea again. We have Russia and Ukraine in war, okay, Russian-backed rebels. And then at the same time, we've got a proxy war going on between America and Russia and between Turkey and Russia. And the Iranians are in there helping Russia. And ISIS is running around beheading Christians. So, I mean, this world, and Israel is hated by everybody. And the Obama foreign policy is an absolute disaster. This is the worst foreign policy. This is worse than the Jimmy Carter foreign policy of appeasement. I'm serious. I've never seen, the world's in chaos. The world's in confusion. The world's filled with carnage. The world's about ready to have a catastrophic, cataclysmic conclusion if something don't happen soon. It's out of control. This is the coming apocalypse. And South Korea's defense ministry said it was trying to determine if the projectiles launched at 10 a.m. from the northeast coast were short-range missiles or artillery fire. Now, the firing came from the United Nations Security Council, passed a unanimous resolution on Wednesday to dramatically expand sanctions on North Korea following its fourth nuclear test on January 6th and long-range rocket launch on February 7th. So it's out of control, folks. Now, Russia's UN ambassador said North Korea's action showed it had not taken the proper lesson from the latest round of sanctions. Even the Russians are chastising Kim Jong-un. And a spokesman for the United States Department said that North Korea should refrain from the provocative actions that agitate tensions and instead focus on fulfilling its international obligations. While a Chinese foreign ministry spokesman said China hoped all parties could refrain from actions that escalate the tensions. Why doesn't China go in there and get this guy in a serious headlock? And give him a new haircut while they're at it. That looks ugly. That's awesome. That's awful. I think he thinks it's awesome. Get him in a headlock, give him a new haircut, and tell him to straighten up. Well, if I was China, I'd do a whole lot more than that. I would eliminate him from position. But that's what China wants. They want this loose cannon. Because as long as the world is preoccupied with his shenanigans, China keeps building military bases on new man-made islands in the South China Sea and slowly, literally just confiscate islands from Vietnam, from the Philippines, from the Koreans, and from Taiwan, And they just keep confiscating while everybody's preoccupied with the bad boy, Kim Jong-un. This guy's a murderer. This guy's a demonic murderer, a butcherer. He's executing innocent people constantly. His family he's killed. He's killed everybody close to him, around him. Everybody in that picture is literally way too close to this guy. They are already under suspicion. If you're in the same photo, it's not good. Well, this world's went mad. Are you serious? Are you serious? The world's gone mad. So we need to pray one for another, seriously. The Bible said there would be spiritual wickedness in high places. It also said because iniquity abounds, the love of many will wax cold. And even Jesus said these words. He says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. All right? Men's hearts back then was on evil continually. Every imagination of his heart on evil continually. That the earth was filled with violence. Oh man, we're about 2 minutes to midnight. We're 1 minute to midnight. This thing's about ready to come to an end. Are you saved? I'm serious. It's time to get born again. Think about the Christians in this country, North Korea. They're imprisoned, they're murdered, they're beheaded, they're starved, they're put in slave camps. It's the atrocities, and yet they continue to worship Jesus Christ by the thousands underground. They could care less what this guy says. They're going to continue to worship Jesus, even if it means their life. And yet we today, in our modern day padded pew parishioner and our pansy pastors and our puppets in the pulpit, we don't have enough guts to even put a cross on the steeple. We're scared to we can't even say table grace in public. We're afraid to mention the name of Jesus. I'm telling you, we're backslid so far, we think we're in first place. It's time that America gets back to God. Seriously, it's time for Canada to get back to God. It's time for Australia, New Zealand. It's time for the United Kingdom. It's time for all of Europe. It's time for across the world. For some that have backslid, it's time to get things right with God and become evangelistic and become about the Father's business and occupy while we're still here and be about the Great Commission. Are you serious? I don't want to get started here, but don't miss Heidi's broadcast tonight. It starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. Rachel's Heart. Her text, she said the title of her broadcast, and I'm going to join her during that broadcast, but the title of it is Spiritual Wickedness in High Places. It's demonic, and it's happening now. Are you saved?